Always struggle with this. Maybe it's my fat fingers. Get in there. Yes, got him. All right. So, welcome to Volume 1, Episode 1 of Oneroll. So if you have not watched the intro video, go watch it now. It'll explain the whole purpose of this whole project. There'll be a link up above and one in the description below. So go watch that now if you haven't seen it yet. Oh wait. You back? Nice. All right. So as you'll have just watched, the whole premise of Volume 1 is the autumn colour chase. So here it is the end of March. Autumn colour's just starting to turn here in central Otago, and we are here at Butcher's Dam today. So we'll start our hunt here. I've got with me the Horseman, of course. Didn't bring my 35mm for this one, but expect there will be 35mm shots as part of this whole project. And yeah, so we're here at Butcher's Dam. We'll see what we can find. So stay tuned. So I'm using a viewfinder app, which allows me to preview my focal lengths, which means I can get a rough idea of where my composition is going to sit. I think around here we're going to use a bit of rise. We're going to capture these reeds off to the right here, and two poplars that are just starting to turn. One's nice and tall, the other one's a bit smaller. There's actually a group of them, little ones. And you can just sort of get a sense of the rocks in the background. So we'll set that up. It'll be on the 65. It will be vertical. And yeah, should be good. Just getting a little bit of colour. And yeah, should be nice. Question is, what lens do I have in there? I think it's the 65. Nice, it is the 65. So this, because it's going to be in vertical, we need to rotate the back. So just like that, we are in portrait or vertical. So that sun is going to be a problem trying to view this, so we're going to need my trusty dark hood, aka an old hoodie. So it's actually quite hot today, as you'll tell by the shorts and t-shirt, so I'm not going to enjoy being under this very much with that sun blasting down, but it is what it is. All right, so loaded in here, you'll see me load some film back at the car, is Provia 100F. So I figured we'd shoot some nice colourful reversal film, known as slide film or colour positive film, for this autumn colour. So it should be good. We meet it up. Looks like we'll get 1/60th of a second. There's a little bit of breeze blowing, so hopefully we won't get too much movement in the leaves, which would be a shame. Which means we'll shoot 1/60th of a second at f16. Not too fussed about losing that depth of field in the background. There's not a lot of sort of interest in the background, so we should be fine. So we're dialed in 1/60th, f16. Cock the shutter. Don't forget the shutter release, Jared. They actually prefer their own shutter release cables. These original Horseman lenses prefer that. So there we go. Alrighty, so fingers crossed. Dark slide out. And it's easy as that. Fingers crossed that one's turned out. So, unfortunately, it turns out I underexposed this shot and the subsequent two shots by a good stop and 2/3. That's because I had the meter set to ISO 320 instead of ISO 100. Check your meter, kids. Thankfully, this was salvageable in the scan. It's a good thing about reversal film. Underexposure can be saved in the scan, and I was able to pull the shot out. There's a couple of trees across the lake here, and get a nice bit of side light. And as tempted as I am to shoot them from here, let's see here. Spin you around so you can look at them. There they are. Nice bit of reflection on the water, but let's see what sort of composition we can get. So 65, definitely way too wide. 105, 210. 210's too tight. Unless I want to just frame one of them. Could just frame one of them, I suppose. Get the reflection in the water. Yeah, let's do that. 105, pretty much directly from here. We'll shoot the pair of them. So as you can see, we've got the reflections in there. So we'll crop a lot of this foreground out because we'll be up a little bit higher. So yeah, I'll set up and see what we can get from here. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. It is absolutely not about being in the shade of these two trees here at all. Now again, depth of field isn't going to be particularly of importance here because we're shooting right across. We don't have a foreground to be worried about. And we're shooting right across this lake here, so should be good. Tell you what though, the flies are chronic. Don't they know it's autumn? They should be dying off. So, trusty 105. Much prefer this lens to the 65 because it allows me the movements, but it also is a wider aperture, which means the ground glass is a lot brighter to look at. Get in there. Very good. All right. So, horizontal this time. Not quite as tight as I'd like. So, unfortunately, I have to get a little bit closer and into the sun. All right, let's not fall over. Oh, there we go. So, oh, bunny rabbit. Ha! Let's level this guy off again. Gosh, focusing with that is much easier. Alrighty. Yeah, okay. So, we do have some pretty intense side light here, and there's a chance taking that dark slide out is going to expose the film to a bit of a light leak. So if there's a bit of flaw in this shot, don't be surprised. We'll try and do this nice and quick. Dark slide out. Get in there. Dark slide back in. So, as with the previous shot, this one was severely underexposed as well. Also rescued in the scan, but it did require a lot more work than the previous shot. Needed a lot more contrast added. It also had a severe lack of contrast in the shot. Thankfully, rescued in the scan, and yeah, nice shot. Really like the reflections in the water here. Turned out quite nicely, and the blues aren't too crazy here too. Shot number two. We're only at 2. I've got to find 6 more. There's some pretty cool poplar trees over there, so we might just go over there, or I might shoot that single tree at a slightly tighter focal length. Let's have a look. Yep, we'll do that. So we'll put the 210 on and carry on. So this 210, it's a beast of a lens actually, nice and chunky, but it is a large format lens, so it's hilariously large for this Horseman. Better, there we go. All right, so 210, we're going to zoom in or focus on this tree. So let's open aperture. So with this 210, we need to actually extend the rear bellows. So we need to pull that out just to get the bellows extension required for a 210mm lens. So now we should be pretty close. Nice tree shot all by himself. No reflection this time, obviously, but should be all good. That sky, oof, that sky is going to blow out though. That's okay. Probably blew out on the last one, if I'm honest. 1/60th of a second. I have forgotten my shutter release. Very happy. Right, so you are back in. Three. All right. 5 to go. The final of the underexposed trio. I actually prefer this shot to the twin shot with the twin trees, but yeah, that's the way it goes. Moving on. Well, it don't look half bad over there, so I might just have to shoot right across this lake. Those poplars over there just starting to turn. It's a shame about the ducks in the water because they're kind of ruining the reflection, but I can't stop the ducks being ducks. Oh, there's a white-faced heron down there too. Just down there swimming. It's a shame to disturb him, but sorry, bro. Sorry, bud. Didn't mean to disturb your dinner. Yep, that is a shot with the 210. Nice. And there is a nice flat rock here for me to sit up on. It's like it's meant to be here. Made for it. All right, let's level this off. And I'll come fetch you. It's further than it looks, I promise. Right. All the way out. Now, when I was disassembling this from the last shot, I did notice there was a fair amount of tilt. So there may be accidental tilt on that last image. Which, you know, these things happen. If you want professionalism, go to Ben Horn's channel. If you want half-assed buffoonery, you're in the right place. Thankfully, this time, no issues with potential light leaks from the sun, because the sun is sufficiently behind our shot. Alright, let's meter this up. But we'll close that aperture just so I don't forget. Sounds good. And I've just realized I've been metering this all wrong. Oh no. I've been metering this at 320 instead of 100. So we're back to 1/60th at f16, 1/30th at f22. Damn. Alright, well, this is going to be interesting. So I've underexposed these by a stop and a bit. Stop and a half. Stop and 2/3. That's probably not going to look good. But it wouldn't be a first video without a whole stack of failures. But well, that's 3 images. We've got 7 left to rescue this roll. Might actually get one properly exposed. This shot really doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. I think this would have much suited being a panoramic. I might actually crop this to a panoramic later on, but I have missed the composition slightly. Down the bottom you see I've cut the top of the trees off of the reflection, which is frustrating, but we'll move on. And I'm back. So we're just going to bolt the 105 on and we're going to shoot it pretty much the same, except a lot more negative space in the sky. God, I'm glad I didn't bring the 35mm because I am struggling for compositions today. But it is what it is. Dark slide out. Alright. Is that 2 left now? Or 3 left. 3 left. Time to keep hunting. This is better. So the reflection's clearly intentionally cut off here, so that makes it an obvious compositional choice rather than a mistake. Really quite like the layers. So we have the water, the trees, the craggy mountain behind, and then the sky. So that gives us sort of a nice stack of layers to make this composition much more interesting than the last one. I can't help it. There's mud cracks. So we're going to try a nice up and close shot. This will be interesting. Tricky shit. Right, so I'm going to block this. So hopefully that prevents any light leaks. Mud cracks. Who'd shoot them? Meh, it's okay. The contrast here was actually quite difficult to deal with in both exposing and in the scan, but it adds to the body of work, and yeah, it'll do. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. It's the same trees that we've shot across the lake earlier, but we do have these rocks off to the right over here, making for a slightly more interesting composition. I'll probably frame it something a little bit like that, because we've got this sort of undulating shoreline there, so maybe framed something like that. Probably with our friend the 210. Probably. But we will see, we will see. Again, this will be the 210. Pretty much within range. It's pretty dark over there, but that's fine. Shield that dark slide again. Out he comes. Cock the shutter, Jared. Right. A trickier one to compose than I initially thought. There was a bit of a battle between getting tree reflections in the rocks on the right hand side and the undulating shoreline exactly where I wanted it. In the end though, pretty happy with this one. I think it might be my favourite from this video, so yeah, last shot to come. Here you can see, if you come over here, we've got this rock, we've got this lichen and this moss and these layers, and the last of the light on it, so that's why I have to rush. We've still got the 210 on. We'll take the film back off, call it, oof, go F22 in 1 second. Yep. It's good sound. And that is us. So 1 roll complete. So one of the best parts about shooting reversal film is looking at it on a light table. So here we are. So I'll probably do this for all of the reversal films that I've shot. Probably pretty pointless for the negative film. But here we are. So as you can see, that first shot definitely underexposed, along with these two, which were the next shot. It was this shot here that I managed to notice my underexposure, and yet I've still managed to underexpose that one too. Again, that was sort of salvageable in the scan, so it's not too bad. Here, things get better. We have our mud cracks here. These look way better than they do in the scan on the light table here, but that kind of is what it is. This shot here, definitely my favorite of the lot. The highlights on the trees do look a little hot, but again, salvageable in the scan. The lichen on the rocks didn't really get the light as I was seeing it, unfortunately, but it is a nice detail shot to add to the overall project. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you feel like shouting me a coffee, check out the link in the description.